you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good to be alive. Thank you for asking. I can't even hold this one back. Look at that skin. Jeez.
Thank
Jeez.
you.
You're welcome. I was going to say that one for later, but I got to hit it now. Looking at you, it's evident that you take care of it. Well, first of all, thank you for being here. I appreciate you making the time to have a conversation with me.
But yeah, most definitely. Thank you for the conversation.
You're welcome. But I got to get back to your skin because I noticed that earlier. So it's evident by looking at you that you take care of yourself. You probably had that really good nutrition thing going on. So aside of the fact that you practice good nutrition, probably have good genetics, what else do you do for that to look like it does? Enlighten me.
I think it's a combination of the diet, and then how you care for your skin, but it's really, really the diet.
Sure.
I know for me personally, sugar and dairy affects my skin. So I
Okay.
try to minimize added sugar and remove dairy from my diet. And that really helps to keep my skin clear and moisturized and all of that.
Okay. Okay. Now, I'm not sure if you were giving the description and doing this on purpose, but I like your nails too, by the way.
No, thank you.
You're welcome. Tell me about.
I'll talk with my hands,
You know what? It's all good. I figured you did, but I had to pick at you just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about the your earrings, by the way. You hand make them.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, I just like having, different things that are very what's the word I'm looking for? Is very specific to me. I like having different and original kind of, jewelry. So when I made these earrings, I like the idea of wire earrings, and I love gold, and I feel like it just looks really elegant and regal. So, and I like having things that a lot of other people don't have. So it's like, let me just do something.
Okay. Now that's interesting because that's another facet of creativity. You're multi-faceted with creativity. You're multi-talented. I mean, you sing, you make the jewelry, you write poetry. What else do you do creatively that you haven't shared?
I really like writing. I feel like a lot of people don't know that, but I love writing. I love writing stories. I know poetry is one aspect of writing, but I actually do like writing stories. I like writing short stories.
Really?
And, and things like that. So it's just something that interests me. And whatever I can make, I like making things. I like painting watercolor specifically, but I haven't done that in a long time. But
Really?
it is something that I enjoy doing. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, is that something that you like? Now, with your singing, I would submit to you that that's the thing that you enjoy the most because that's the thing that's the most prevalent or that's the most out there about you. And please, by all means, if I'm wrong, correct me.
No, that's right. That's right.
Okay.
Music is a major part,
Sure. Now, is there something else creatively that because you spoke on the watercolors, is there something else that you like to bring to the forefront? Because again, even with the earrings, that's an aspect of your creativity as well and your poetry. So are there other elements or facets of creativity that you like to show more? Was your watercolor an example of that or?
Yeah, I feel like in the future I may show that aspect more, but because there's a lot of things that I do, I kind of want to narrow some things down, and focus on those. I feel like I haven't given my full attention to the music aspects, and that's something that I'm taking more of an effort to do that, So yeah, so that's the main focus right now is music. And then the speaking, since I do like talking and sharing my opinions and ideas, those are the two, the two main focuses that I have right now.
Okay. Do you think that you'll ever use that short story aspect as well? Because you said short story, that hit my ears because I write and I've created some short films as well. So I was just, certain things catch attention. Thank you. So just to expound on that a little bit, what kind of story, what theme, for myself personally, action adventure, being a martial artist for years, that's one of my things. So for you, what kind of what themes do you enjoy to write about? What kind of do you like to bring light?
I really love science fiction. I can't even front.
Really?
I love science fiction. I love anime. I got this
I see.
pillow behind me and some action figures. So I do like the idea of there's certain movies that I really enjoy, movies that having to do with space and time and different dimensions. So when I have written short stories, it's been the setting was space, and it was post-apocalyptic, and you know, people trying to, so it's been stuff like that, but I really do
Wow.
enjoy writing science fiction and then having to do with, you know, just interdimensional space travel. Like that's
Sure.
something that I like.
Wow.
And
Wow.
nobody
Okay.
would really know that about me, you know?
Sure, sure. Unless they ask the question, they asking
Right.
questions is what I do. So now I know that's actually pretty wow. Okay, that's
Yeah.
intriguing. Thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I'm
Now,
glad
as it,
somebody's interested because every time I start talking about space and time travel and different dimensions, everybody's like, okay, anyway, and they try to change the subject. Nobody really wants to talk about that, so I'd be keeping it to myself.
well,
You
see,
know,
and the thing about it is, I mean, when you just like I said earlier, when you spoke on short films, how that caught my attention. When you
right?
mention certain things around certain people that are of a creative mind or a particular facet of creative mind, it'll resonate, and you find yourself talking about it a little bit more, just the same as how we talking about it now. So that's actually pretty cool. That's a nice fun fact, Erica.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Okay. As it relates to your music, how
Mm.
old were you when you got bit by that bug, and when did you decide that you wanted to do it as a career?
It was something that was just always in me. You know, I used to self-soothe as a toddler. I would sing myself to sleep, you know, for as long as I can remember. And that was something that I did. And my parents first put me in like a talent show at our church when I was like 4 years old. And I sang, you know, in front of everybody. And so from that point on, like I knew. And then when I was in the first grade, we had to like draw our careers out of like what we wanted to be. And I drew myself on stage singing in front of a huge audience of people. So it's been something that's been there ever since I can remember. And like the older I got, the more I've like added things in. Like I learned how to play instruments when I was 11, and so that added into it. And then writing poetry translated into writing songs, and so you know, it just continued to build as I got older.
Wow. Okay. Now, as far as your music is concerned, within the industry, who would you say are three of the top people that have encouraged or influenced you, intentionally or unintentionally? Your top three.
Three of the top people that have influenced me is most definitely Jill Scott, Jilly from Philly. I love Jill Scott. I absolutely love Outkast. I love them. And then I love the Isley Brothers. Those are like my top three major influences.
Nice. Okay. Top three major influences outside of the industry that have helped you musically.
Outside of like the music industry, you're saying?
Yep. In life. How about that? Top three in life.
Top three in life. I think the first would have to be Angela Boone. She was my band teacher. So she wasn't in the music industry, but she taught, you know, she taught marching band at the middle school that I went to. And she saw something in me, and she took time to like teach me separately, you know, one-on-one different things. And when I decided I wanted to learn how to play the violin, she gave me lessons for free, you know, so she was a major influence. I'm trying to think of who else. My brother Elliot, he always raps, and so we would always be around each other, like making music. Like I would beat on a table and he would rap to whatever, you know, beats I was making. So he was a major influence as well.
Okay, you got one more for me?
One more, let me think.
Angela Boone, Elliot, and we one more if you got it. If you don't, it's fine, but gotta ask.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I do have one more.
Okay, that's fine. No, I was just curious. Now, your brother, being that he was instrumental in terms of your development coming up, have you had the opportunity to have him work with you now, or would you like to have him work with you on something in the future?
We've worked together already, and like you know, we'll continue to work together. Like we've been involved in so much. Like I've produced a lot of music for him, you know, and have mixed his music. So whenever we do music, we're always involved in each other, you know, so we work together quite regularly. Okay.
Now, going back to the poetry aspect of things, or writing short film, which did you start writing first? Did you start, because I mean, some people, I mean, in terms of their creativity, is amazing. I mean, kids are sponges, and depending upon their exposure to things, they can become super creative super early on. So how old were you when you started doing all of your writing, as it relates to your music, as it relates to the short films, as it relates to your poetry?
I started writing poetry at around 8 years old. I started writing poetry.
Wow.
And it was just, I felt like it was just a way for me to express what I was thinking, because I have a lot of thoughts in my mind. I feel like most people have an internal monologue, but for me, it's like, this might sound a little crazy, but for me, it's like a council meeting, like a boardroom. There's just so many thoughts, and me being able to write them down, it gets everything out, and it helps me to just be clear-minded. Like if I'm not writing or if I'm not making music, I start to unravel mentally. So it's something that I need to do, I started doing it when I was like 8, writing poetry.
Okay. Now tell me about the creative process as it relates to more so about your music, because it's like just to listen to Top Drawer, it hurt my feelings. Found the panties in the drawer. Hurt my feelings. Heard that lyric. You take me from one spectrum to another. Then I listened to the lyrics. Stingy had me grinning. Talking about, if you ain't feeling me, don't be so stingy. If you feeling me, don't be so stingy. So I'm like, so I'm wiping the tears. They're happy. So it's like to get that kind of emotion out of people, because music is, it's powerful, man. Tell me about your process of creation. Like how much of it is based upon not, maybe a portion of it is personal experience. Another aspect of it may be what you observed other people doing, and then another aspect of it may be completely just creating it. So tell me about that process as it relates to your songwriting.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for listening. I definitely appreciate that.
You're welcome.
But yeah, the creative process is, for me, music is like all personal. So like if I wrote it, or if I sang it in the song, this is what happened. So yeah, so as sad as you were listening to Top Drawer, I was sad experiencing it, but that's what happens. Like whatever happens in life, in order for me to get it out and like heal from it, or either for me to get it out and it's a good situation, then I write it down and I could be grateful for it, but I have to get it out, because like I said, it'll just be in here, and once I write it or sing it, it's like it comes out. So the creative process for me is like me and my feelings, basically. Like I'll be feeling some type of way and I write it in order to stop feeling how I was feeling, and it helps me to get it out. It's more of a cathartic type of thing for me. But yeah, so Top Drawer, after that experience happened, I wrote the song, and Stingy, that was an experience too. I was really feeling somebody, and he initially like reached out to me. He seemed, like he was interested, but then he started to pull back, and I'm like, what's going on? Why are you being so stingy? And so it was just me getting my thoughts out,
Just even your way, your way of creating or expressing, why you being so stingy? That is stingy, but who would, it takes a creative mind to apply that towards song the way that you did. So
yeah,
love it. I don't think about it so much for myself, but when I have an opportunity to speak to people and they share their personal experiences or what I observe, when you can take pain or something that's not positive and make it into something positive, something optimistic, something beautiful, that's really good. That's really good, because so many people don't, bad things happen and they get uncomfortable. And we human, we hurt. So they just go down. So I commend you in being able to take it to several steps further than what the average person would, and to be able to create beautiful music behind it. So that's awesome.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I think that everybody should, have some sort of creative outlet, because things happen and it's hard to deal with it. And a lot of times you can go and rely on like other people to try to fill that void, or you can rely on drugs, or, things that are not a positive outlet.
Sure.
To get that out. So for me, music was that, that's why I say that I need it. Like the music and the writing is necessary for me. If I don't have it, I'll start to spiral out of control mentally. So it's like, let me just get this out. Let me write this. Cause I write so much more music than I actually put out. And I make music. It's literally for me. Like I have a song called High Anxiety, cause I was really stressed out last year. And I don't know if I will ever put it out, but the fact that I wrote it is what made me be able to get through that point in my life,
Okay.
Yeah, wow. So necessary.
For sure. Now, in terms of the creative to creative influences intimately? Your brother is one. You have any other people in your family that have the bug or have displayed characteristics that may have inspired you lightweight in a sense?
Yeah, my mom, she she loves music. She's always listening to music and playing it and singing along. And my whole mom's side of the family, they're very musical. My uncle
Really?
Jamal, he initially, before I started playing the piano, he told me I had piano playing hands, okay. But yeah, so I do have people in my family that were more so musical, but they weren't as close to me. Like my mother, of course, she's in the same household with me.
Sure.
So like uncles, my mom's side of the family, they're in a different state,
Okay. Okay. Take me to school. What did Uncle Jamal tell you about piano playing? Because I love the piano as well, and a buddy of mine taught me a little bit, but I don't have it the way that you or he does. So what is it about? What makes piano playing hands? Just so I know.
Long fingers, having long fingers, because my fingers are kind of long. I have long fingers, and then fingers that like stretch. Like it's not natural for most people to be able to. Like this is almost 90 degrees.
Wow.
See?
Okay, yeah. I'm sitting here trying to do it too, and it ain't happening,
Yeah,
okay.
It's like a little crazy, but I have very long fingers, and they move pretty well independent of each other.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay. Now, so I heard you speak about violin, and I heard you speak about piano, as if playing both of those aren't enough in themselves. Both very beautiful sounding instruments. Do you play any others, or are those your two?
Yeah, I play other instruments. My main is the piano, and even though I know how to play the violin, I'm not very good at the violin. I do know how to play it, but I'm a percussionist. Like when I was in a marching band in high school, I played a lot of. That was actually my first instrument, was like the marimba, and then I started playing the piano after that. But I played, just an array of percussion instruments like marimba, xylophone, vibraphone, hand drums. Those are things that I play as well.
Man, to listen to you speak and share different things, you are an artist, just all around artist to the core. Oh my gosh. I mean, from the things that you do musically, to your talents, your interests, anime, I don't, man, that's, say, I gave me pause for a second, because coming up, I mean, nowadays, these kids and even adults to a degree, you don't know how good that they have it as far as being able to express yourself or express that you like certain things. Because when I was younger, and then being a brother, you like anime, you're not off into the norm, you get laughed at or talked about. Or you a nerd.
Are you weird?
Or, a geek. But now geek culture is a thing. You know what I mean?
It is. It's a lot more accepted, but. Sure. It's strange sometimes, but you have to be firm in it. Like, if this is what I like, this is what I like. Some people do still try to, laugh at me a little bit. Like, I remember I was telling my mom something about space time and how it bends around, the event horizon of a black hole, because I love stuff like that, right? And I was telling her, and I was so fascinated. And she was like, "You talk about this when you go on dates, don't you?" Like, oh, come on, don't do me like that, but it is, sometimes people, they don't want to hear about it. But if I stand firm in it, like, this is what I like. I like anime. I like watching Japanese cartoons. Yep. I like science fiction, space movies, all sorts of things. And, as someone, like, if you do like writing and like short stories and really complex storylines and plots and stuff, I feel like nothing has that more than anime. Like the storylines and the character development and all of that is superb. I feel like a lot of like American film could take notes because it's superb writing,
No, you're right. I'm not as sharp as what I used to be when I was a kid, but you know what, I'll do it. Give me 3 to 5 of your favorite anime. And
My favorite anime? Okay.
Yes. Let's have it.
I absolutely love Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Okay.
Has such an amazing storyline, and it's Brotherhood is like important because there's two versions, but Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is really, really good. Okay. I love Naruto. I mean, who doesn't? Naruto Shippuden as well is really good. I like Hunter x Hunter. That's another one of my favorite animes. Those are like my top 3. I like Yu Yu Hakusho. That's the 4th one. You said 3 to 5?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, I won't keep going on. There's like my top animes that I like, but you know,
Okay.
yeah, the
Okay.
whole genre as a whole is like a thing to me.
Okay. Okay. Let me see. Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably my bright shining star. And then from like the films, there was a Vampire Hunter D. There were two of those that had come out, and I enjoy both of those. Um,
Nice, check you
yeah,
out.
yeah,
Okay.
man, yeah. A little old school. They didn't do as much with it as I feel like they should have, but what they did, I enjoyed.
Yeah,
So,
no, that's what's up. That's cool. That's cool.
so I figured you share. I had to do a little bit of sharing too.
Mhm. No, it's good. You know, anime people
Thank you.
unite. You know, let us know it's a community out here.
See, yep, absolutely. What would you say, Erica, is your proudest moment as an artist thus far?
I think my proudest moment as an artist would be working with Raheem Devon and
Okay.
doing a song with him
Okay.
because you know I grew up listening to him, and to know that like he reached out and he wanted to collaborate was just really
Mm,
dope, you know.
mm,
And then hearing it back, like hearing the vocals and that he like really took it serious and
sure.
really went in on the song, like he did his thing. It was just that was something that that just really solidified it. It made me feel like, okay, I'm for real like artist. You know, if nothing else says it, then like this solidifies it. Like I've worked with people that I grew up listening to. So
Hmm.
that was really dope.
So, okay, I was going to ask you about that Time Off remix with Raheem Devine.
Mhm.
I mean, so the song is itself, was that did you guys write it together, or tell me about that aspect too? Really
So
pretty song.
essentially, I wrote the song, and because there, you know, the original Time Off version that's just me on there,
Hmm.
and then with Raheem Devon, he wrote his part. So the part where he's singing, you know, he wrote that, except for the hook, you know, because I'd written the hook and the verse, my verses. So the process for both of us, you know, he's not in the same state. So he more so, we talked about the song and then he sent me his vocals and then I heard what he had come up with.
Hmm.
But the writing process for me just came out of a place of like longing. Like at the time I was in a relationship
Hmm.
and I was dating a man, but he was very busy. And I understood that. I understood if I wanted to be with a successful man, then I'd have to be with a busy man. He's not just gonna have all the time in the world to just lay up with me, you know? And
Hmm.
so I was just thinking about it. It's like the times when he does have some time off, you know, I got a little time off. I don't want to waste it. Let's link, you know, let's enjoy. We don't have to get up and go to work in the morning, you
Hmm.
know. Again, just writing from experience of a place of like longing, you know.
Okay. Did um did Raheem express what it was in particular about your style of writing, or your style of music that made him want to have the collaboration?
He just said that I have like a smooth voice, you know, and
Hmm. For
he
sure.
thought we would mesh well. Like the audiences that we have are somewhat similar, you know, like that neo soul R&B type of vibe. So he thought it would be a good collaboration, and I feel like our voices, you know, complemented each other well on
Sure.
that song.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. And I'm just thinking about what you said initially, where you were saying working with him made you, it would kind of hit you like, yeah, I'm a real deal,
Yeah, like I'm really artist. I've been listening to him for I don't know how long. Like this is really
Sure.
cool, you know.
Sure, absolutely. Now, when you were a little girl dreaming of the future and thinking about the future as it relates to your music, could you have imagined, did you imagine that you would be in the position that you're in now? And keep in mind, you're not done, but you still doing, but can think about where you were then and I mean, could you see it? Did you see it getting as big as it is?
I I actually did, you know,
Okay.
and not to be on like it's not a pompous or arrogant thing, but I feel
No,
like
not at all.
in order to be someplace, you have to see it. You
Sure.
know, I feel like
Mm,
before it happens, you have to, you know, and if you don't see it, then that just prolongs, you know, prolongs it actually it ever happening. So I feel like with like because when I was in the first grade and I drew that picture of myself, I was on
mm,
stage and I had a mic and it was just a sea of people. Like I couldn't even
mm,
differentiate like the faces.
mm,
And I feel like when you have that mindset, you know, the way that I said I love talking about dimensions and stuff, I feel like our bodies are three-dimensional, but like the energy that lives in it is higher dimensional. So when I visualize myself in the future, whether I'm on stage performing, I feel like that actually like has already happened, you know, like it already happened, and if I could see it in my mind's eye, then it's real. So all I have to do is visualize it and see it, and then work to get myself to that place. So because I've visualized things and I've seen it, like I do believe that that's what makes it real, you know. So in short, well, I should say in long, because that was kind of a long answer, but I did see myself. I see myself where I am now, and I see myself further, you know.
Okay. That's very powerful, and you're right about that in terms of just visualization. Just is certain things within my life that I can recall that I visualize, and I say, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna make this thing happen, and I would almost submit to you that I think that may be something, maybe I'll say that's unique to successful creatives, you know, because people can be a creative and they can have ideas, excuse me, but unfortunately they don't follow through with it for whatever the reason, you know. But for a successful creator, you know, you envision yourself doing this thing that you love so much, you know, and you see it, and it's kind of a template or the blueprint. You just keep pushing and following through, right, you know, and it happens, and then, you know, it grows, and then you look up and here you are, you know, right. What I mean?
Yeah, it does. It seems to be a common thread, because I've seen a lot of people, like they've asked Missy Elliott, did she see herself like in, you know, at this icon status? And she was like, yes. They asked Kevin Hart, they asked that one boxer, I can't think of his name, Conor McGregor. They asked all these people, like, did they see themselves? And they all said, yeah, they saw themselves there, you know. And I think that that's important. And people might, you know, think that it is like an arrogant thing, or like, oh, you think you all of that. No, it's just knowing how like the power of energy works, you know, and how the universe works, you know. I guess that's the reason why I like science fiction so much, because I feel like part of it isn't really fiction. You know, when we talk about the higher dimensions, you know, we live in a three-dimensional world, but the fourth dimension, science has defined it as like space-time. But I feel like the energy that lives in us is higher than that. It's dimensions above that. So it's not confined to time. So that's why I could visualize and I could see things in the future, you know. And it's, you know, I know it probably sounds a little spooky or whatever, and it's not even trying to be like that, but I feel like that's just how powerful the mind is. And if we really want something, we have to see ourselves there in order for it to come to fruition. That's just firmly what I believe, you know.
Yeah. No doubt, absolutely. Excuse me. With Water Me with Tyrese, did he do the voiceover for it, or did he do any vocals for it as well? Because I can't recall hearing vocals, but I remember his voiceover.
No, he did the voiceover. Like I asked him if he would do like that, you know, DJ thing, you know, like I used to back in the day when people used to slow dance. You know, wow. Ladies, grab your man, fellas, grab your girl. You know, I asked him to do that. But you know, it's cool. Like I feel like my generation, you know, the millennials, if you were like the last generation to like actually slow dance and experience like that level of intimacy. You know, it's such a dope thing that people don't do anymore.
No, you're right. You're right about that. Wow. What when you initially asked him to do it, did he agree to it pretty quickly?
Yeah, he did. I was like, you do this? And he was like, yeah, for sure, I'll do it. And he just sent me a voice message real quick. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I could take this, chop it up, mix it, you know. But yeah, it was cool. It was a vibe.
Nice. Yeah, for sure. Now, is that something else that you play around with, or that you delve into as well in terms of editing and stuff? Because you said chop it up. I wasn't sure if you literally do it yourself or you had your people do it.
Oh yeah, I engineer.
You know what? I did see that, and I did want to ask you about that. Tell me about Erica the engineer.
Well, it started when I was 19. I won like a local R&B contest.
Sure.
The prize was like studio time at a local studio, right? And so I went to the studio and I recorded the song, but when I heard it back, it just didn't sound right. At the time, I didn't know anything about mixing, but I know that it didn't sound how I wanted it to sound. And so from that point on, I decided I'm going to learn how to do this because I wanted to sound right, you know? So from that point on, I started learning, you know, about like the engineering process and mixing, and I was taking classes and going to different workshops so that I could learn and it could sound the way that I wanted it to, you know?
Yeah. Would you say that you have an aptitude for education? Because to listen to you and how well read you are and the array of knowledge that you harbor, I would almost submit to you that you do. So I'll ask you and let you tell me.
I do. I mean, I like learning things, you know. I feel like there's just a lot of information, and I mean, the society that we live in, it's the age of information. It's if you don't know something, you could easily go and learn how to do it. And I think that's such a beautiful thing. But yeah, I mean, I have like a inclination to that because of what my father did. Like when I was younger, he had us read like the narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass as a family. Like I was 7 at the time because we had moved from Los Angeles to, you know, a different city. And it was different, you know, like I was the only like Black girl in my class. And so my dad didn't want us to assimilate, you know, so we read that together as a family. And when I saw that like the people that came before me, you know, they couldn't, like reading was illegal and like learning information was something that they tried to withhold from us. I just, you know, I thought that if I didn't learn, if I didn't have a desire to know, that like that would be my ancestors turning in their grave. So I take it very, very seriously, like being educated and learning as much as I can, because the ones who came before me literally fought and died for the opportunity for me to do so, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Very true. 100%, 100%. What would you say is a dream collaboration, or what do you have any dream collaborations?
I do.
Okay.
I would love to collaborate with Outkast. That's definitely a dream collaboration. To meet Andre 3000 and Big Boy would be, you know, yes, it's something that I want to do. So that's like one of my major dream collaborations. I'd love to work with Jill Scott as well. You know,
I was waiting for that one.
Yeah, Jill Scott, she's amazing. So those are like two of my main like dream collaborations. There's some like producers that I want to work with, like, you know, that are like newer of our generation. One is D-Mile. He produces so much for like a lot of artists like Lucky Day, Victoria Monet. He produced, I think, some of Silk Sonic for Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak, you know. So he's just a really dope person that I do want to work with one day.
Okay. Nice. Erica, what is a word of encouragement that you would share with someone that's going through a tough time?
A word of encouragement that I would share is that those type of times don't last. And if you can, just look at the world that we're living in, like just the beauty of creation, and try to be grateful, because it's hard to be sad and depressed when you're expressing gratitude.
Absolutely.
You know? 100%. I would tell them, you know, if you can, just wake up in the morning and just at least write down a couple things that you're grateful for, because it will change your whole mood and your mind. You know, it's something that I do to keep me in an optimistic mindset, because it's really like very difficult to be depressed and grateful at the same time.
You're right. You are right about that. 100%. Yeah.
So that's what I would say. Try to practice. I know things are difficult right now and it's hard to find something to be grateful for, but try to look around and see what, you know, there's a lot to be grateful for.
Absolutely. Yeah. You gave me pause because I'm really big on gratitude. So yeah, I'm absorbing that. Yeah, for sure. 100%. Erica, what is a word of encouragement or advice that you wish someone had given you when you faced a tough time in your life? And this could be a tough time from when you were in single digits. It could have been teenager, it could have been early adulthood, whatever, at any particular point in given time.
I wish somebody would have told me, and I guess this is in regards to, like love, because I feel like it's something that people don't tell women, but I wish somebody would have told me to really value myself and focus on what I have going on, you know, and to develop myself. and to understand that like people aren't going to value you or respect you more than you value and respect yourself. We could say that like we're good people, like I'm a good person or I'm kind to people and all that, and we wonder why situations don't pan out or people still take advantage of us. Is because all that, unfortunately, it shouldn't matter, but it doesn't. We have to respect and value ourselves to a level to where other people will do that as well. So I wish somebody would have told me that, that it's not all about like, be kind, of course, and don't walk around being a jerk, but be kind to yourself. Don't talk bad to yourself, like, because I'll have thoughts of I'm not doing enough, and I'm very hard on myself. And it's like, the kindness that you extend to other people, the respect that you extend to other people, give that to yourself as well. Respect yourself and be kind to yourself.
Sure. Definitely. Well, Erica Lachey, thank you so much for taking some time to have a conversation with me. I have enjoyed it, and I appreciate you.
Likewise, I have thoroughly enjoyed this as well. You were excellent. I will say that, you were an excellent interviewer. This is very easy, and it just flowed smoothly. So I appreciate this as well. I appreciate the interview so much.
Thank you. That means a lot. But you to say that confirms that I did my job. That's a desire. So thank you for sharing that with me. That was encouraging, and I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem at all. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care. Looking forward to more music out of you.
Oh yeah, more is coming for sure. Thank you, and likewise.
You're welcome. Appreciate it.
All right.
Bye.